I'd like to welcome Pan Royalty, a panist who needs no introduction, and his outstanding young son, a Pan prodigy and winner of the 2024 Crane Mailing Foundation Young Artist Competition of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Liam Teague and Jaden Teague-Nunez, otherwise known as TNTeague. How are you both doing?
Doing good,
Doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast. First of all, Jaden, congratulations on your historic achievement as a panelist.
Thank you.
Tell me how you feel about what you have just accomplished.
It's it's like unbelievable that first off I got to play on Orchestra Hall at Symphony Center. It's always been a dream of mine to do so. And then being able to win this competition and being able to play with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra it's like feels like a dream right now. But it's also cool that not just for me, but that I'm also making history with Japan, being the first ever panist to solo with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, which is such an amazing feeling for me, knowing that I'm doing something great for the fan community.
Wow, that is so great. So the crane mailing, is it mailing or mailing?
I think Marling, but I'm
Is it
honestly,
mailing?
yeah, I think,
Okay.
yeah.
So the Crane Marling Foundation, for the benefit of our viewers, the foundation Young Artist Competition is a prestigious concerto competition and it's held annually for top young soloists. Applicants audition at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Center before a distinguished panel of judges. And you were the winner out of three musicians selected to perform in the final round of the competition. So, as the grand prize winner, you will be featured as a soloist with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra during the upcoming concert season. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
Right. Okay. And this is the first time a pan player has ever made it to the final round of the competition.
Mhm.
So
As far as
you
we know,
make,
it's the first time that a steel pan player has even entered.
Yeah, even participated in
wow,
it.
Yeah.
a lot of branches of history here.
Hmm.
That is great. And so, what was your preparation like getting ready for this challenge?
Yeah, it was like hours and hours of practicing the piece, trying to get rid of every little imperfection in the piece because I was in the mindset, that the judges could hear every single mistake that I could make. So I was trying so hard to erase all of that. But yeah, it was just taking up hours and hours of practice and dedication into the practicing and trying to be really honest with myself into getting it to where I really want it to be.
Really good. So, what musical piece did you perform?
I performed the second, third, and fourth movement of my dad's own composition, A Visit to Hell, and he originally composed it for just unaccompanied hand, but there's a gentleman, Dr. Jamie Whitmarsh, who a few years ago he orchestrated the piece so it could be played with an orchestra, percussion ensemble, and piano arrangement. Not all of those at the same time, but there's arrangements of each of those where I
Uh-huh.
where I was able to play that for my audition.
Wow. And who were your competition? Who were,
Um, well, for the preliminary round, well, for the whole competition, it was based off of brass woodwinds,
And
harp, and
percussion.
percussion. Yeah, there was people from those four categories, and and they would only select three of them. I'm not sure if they would select people from each category or just like the three best ones. But yeah, I was with a French horn and a flute player for the finals.
great. Jaden, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
So that would make you a sophomore in high school. Is that about
Yes.
right? Yeah, wow. What high school do you attend?
I go to DeKalb High School in DeKalb, Illinois.
Okay. And you're not just a pan player, you are a multi-instrumentalist. What other instruments do you play besides pan?
Yeah, other than pan, I also play some piano. I've been doing that since I was around like I think 10, 9, 10, or 11. I forgot what age. And I also play various percussion instruments like marimba, snare drum, drum set, I've been doing that since sixth grade, so that's probably like 11. I'm not sure how old I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Besides music, what are some of your other interests?
I really love like martial arts, like Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA. I've been doing that. I think I've
Wow.
been doing that longer than I've been doing music. Yeah, I train I've been training Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai for around like 8, 9 years now.
Wow. That's really great. So
Yeah.
I understand that the big stage is nothing new to you. In fact, you and your dad have been guest artists at a number of different college SteelPan programs. Could you name a few of those that you've performed at?
Yeah, so this was around 2, 3 years ago. We went to California for it was Humboldt State.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Humboldt State University.
Yeah, we went to
Yeah.
Arcata, California to perform with their steel band. And then what other universities?
So we just played at the Inside Out Steelband Festival in
Yeah.
Austin, Texas, which is run
Yeah.
by a wonderful person, CJ Mengi.
Menche, that's right. Yeah.
And this semester we have several other guest artist performances, including at Coastal Carolina University and University of Akron, coming up in a few.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Of course, everybody in the SteelPan world has heard of your dad, Mr. Liam Teague,
Mhm.
the famed pan soloist, arranger, composer, and professor of pan at Northern Illinois University. And you two present yourselves as TNTeague. I like that name. I like that name. So who
Yeah.
came up with that name?
It was kind of came up with like we were talking about it one day in the car, hey, what should we name our duo? And then I forgot who exactly came up with it.
It was me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's obviously it's a well, I shouldn't say obviously because parts of it is a play on words, of course. I'm playing
Right.
the Trinidad and Tobago, but
Yeah.
it's primarily about the combination of Jaden's last name. Jaden is Teague-Nunez. His mother,
Yes.
my wife, Lorena Nunez, is from Panama. And so Jaden and his sister, they have the last name Teague-Nunez. And of course, my last name is Teague. So TNT. And I'm always very passionate about paying homage to Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean as a whole, so I never
Yeah.
lose that.
hmm
Very good. Very good. So you two just returned from the Bahamas where you put on a fantastic show as the dynamic pan duo TNT. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience being able to perform international and especially going to the Bahamas where the environment was just great. All the people there were so nice and the host was so kind to us and yeah, everything was like just the weather was really cool at the beaches. There was
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah. Bahamas has
yeah,
beaches.
yeah, right. But yeah, the performances went really, really well for us. We
Yeah.
got like a packed house. It was really cool to see.
And,
Yeah.
we
That's
also had
beautiful.
the opportunity to work with many young students, do a few workshops, and some of them were able to attend one of our rehearsals, which was sort of a new thing for me, rehearsing and having an active audience. Um,
Wow.
and we really enjoy performing together because, as Jaden, as he was mentioned before, he's a multi-instrumentalist. And so we're able to play in many eclectic styles from calypso, soca, ragtime, jazz, classical, you name it.
Wow.
We try to do it.
Jordan, how old were you actually when you started playing pan?
I started playing piano. I was around like 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Wow.
Yeah.
And your mom, Lorena Nunez, is also an accomplished musician, a former principal violist of the Panama National Symphony Orchestra. How has your mom influenced your approach to music?
Yeah, she's influenced me like so much with my music, in terms of interpretation, how I present myself on the stage, trying to just trying to like both my parents have really been trying to influence me into just being me on the stage rather than
Mhm.
trying to reserve myself. Just to express all that you can no matter where you are. That's what they've been trying to teach me all this time, and it's been great advice.
Yeah, it comes off so charismatic too. And she doubles as your archivist, documenting all your outstanding
Yeah.
performances.
Yeah, I like to call her like a mamarazzi, a play on words of
I like that.
and paparazzi. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So, with a Trinidadian father and a Panamanian mother, you have both influences reflected in your choice of music for your performances?
My choice of music, yeah, like especially the calypso and Latin, the different styles. That's what we
Yeah,
like to perform, like Latin, calypso, soca, you name it. They all
yeah,
come from the Panamanian and Trinidadian cultures, as well as the Caribbean and Central American cultures, not just from
yes.
the countries.
Okay. You've already mentioned how much you are contributing to the advancement of the steel pan art form. Um, do you have a vision for the pen that you would like to see the art form at, which is not there right now, or is there something you would like to pursue that?
Yeah, something I like to see is something that my dad has been such a huge advocate for is seeing the pan in very common in all sorts of genres. Like when you look at an orchestra and then if you see a pan player being a soloist, I want that to kind of just be like the normal thing, kind of like when you see a violinist or a pianist soloing with
Yeah,
the orchestra, or even if like the soloing with a jazz ensemble playing jazz. I want that to kind of be the norm and have a lot of pianists being able to do that on the regular.
very good, very good. And so, how do you personally hope to do that with your talent?
I'd first of course, want to keep on performing, showing what the band can do in front of other people. But also, I've been trying to arrange and compose. Like recently, I've been working on Tchaikovsky's. He has a 20-minute overture called Romeo and Juliet. I've been doing a steel band arrangement of that.
Wow,
And yeah, I'm hoping it'll get premiered soon and it can be played by different steel bands.
wow, that's amazing. So, with talented youth like you, everyone would agree that the future of Pan is in good hands. What does your performance schedule look like for 2024? And where can we hear you live?
Yes, so for Pan, the next time I'll be going to is it South Carolina or North
South Carolina.
South Carolina with the Coastal Carolina University, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina University playing at their steel band and a steel band festival they have. Then
Uh-huh.
after that is the University of Akron, correct? Yeah,
Hmm.
so sometimes I keep getting my schedule mixed up, but yeah. So I'll be
Okay.
with them as well. Then right after that is the Panama, right?
We tentatively have a performance booked with the Panama National Symphony, um,
Wow.
probably in August, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
August, yes.
And then
Yeah.
we're performing at Naperville Central High School, which is about 45 minutes from where we're located. The
Uh-huh.
show called Drum Show. So it features many percussion instruments and steel pan, of course. So it's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So let's talk a little bit about your instruments. What kind of pan do you play?
I
Or your
played
preferred pan?
played a tenor pan, but
C
I've
or D?
hmm?
Low C.
C or D?
Oh, low C. Yeah, low C.
A low C, okay. And who built your pan?
Oh, was it?
So
Good question.
yeah, he doesn't. I got this plan for him when I think on his 8th birthday
Yeah.
from
Oh,
Trinidad,
wow.
and I think it was built. Actually, it's too long ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Um,
Okay.
the late great, Clifford Alexis tuned it
Oh,
um
okay.
years before, of course, he passed away a few years ago.
Right. Yeah, who keeps your pan tuned now?
Um, now we have my dad's partner in crime, Yuko Asada, and was Uncle Cliff's his wife.
Hmm?
Yeah, now she tunes it and tunes all the
Oh,
bands,
nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know she tuned.
Yeah, she
That's
does.
Yeah, so
excellent.
her primary responsibility now at Northern Illinois University is maintaining our instruments, and so she would have studied with Clifford Alexis.
Yeah.
But she does everything known to man in the steel band world. She's a wonderful performer,
Yeah.
arranger, composer. in addition to tuning and building. So we're very fortunate to have her here at NIU.
Yes, very good, very good. Wow. Any particular choice in mallets?
Mallets?
Yeah.
What I usually like to play with is like I think there is, yeah, they're in the band. Sorry, man. Yeah, but I like these I usually use these like brown wooden sticks. I really like these. I really like to play these ones because of how light they can feel and how
Uh-huh.
delicate you can play with them, along with how strong you can play.
Great,
And
great,
I
great.
like to use aluminum sticks, which is completely opposite of what I have.
Yeah. Okay. So, Liam, did you do any arrangements for this year's Panorama?
I arranged for Harvard Harps in the small band category.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we did Sherwin Winchester's Dead or Alive, which
Uh-huh.
would progress to the finals. So that
I
was the
see.
first time arranging in a few years. As you know, the last
Yeah.
ensemble I was with was Silver Stars. So I worked with them
Yeah.
for 6 or 7 years.
Uh-huh. Very good. Liam, how do you feel about the state of Panorama?
Um, well, I'll tell you, I've taken many things, I took many things for granted about my early education in Trinidad and Tobago, musically and
Yes.
otherwise, until I moved to the States, initially as a student and then as a professor. And there's so many things about Panorama and the steel band environment that I really embrace and I celebrate.
Uh-huh.
For example, it's very rare where you can find an atmosphere where people from all walks of life come together with a common goal, and the Panyard, I often say it's the University of the Panyard because
Hmm.
there's many lessons that you learn there beyond music. Um, with respect to Panorama, um, I think for many years I've said that I would like to see more events that are based primarily on a celebration of music, not necessarily a competition.
Hmm.
Um, and cognizant of the fact that one of the reasons why this instrument developed so quickly was because of competition.
Competition. Yes.
But competition can be healthy and unhealthy. And, and I think nobody in their right mind would want to go on stage without giving their best, whether it's a
Yes.
competition or not. So I would like to see more events like that where we can celebrate original music,
Yes.
honest music, and have as much freedom as you would like. That's not dictated by some sort of criteria sheet, you know. And I think
Right.
when you think about the history of Panorama, especially from the embryonic stages, it was always about telling your true story, your honest story, and that's why we had, the geniuses like the Bradleys and the Bugsies, um, all saying profound things, but not necessarily sounding alike. They had that
Yes.
freedom. And there are many times, truth be told, where folks tend to sort of go a particular direction because they want to win the competition, you
Right.
know, and sometimes they are forced, so to speak, to go in that particular direction, musically speaking. Otherwise, they run the risk of not being rehired, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's
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 right.
the reality.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jaden, I'm sure you listen to other pan players besides your dad. Give
Not
me five pan players whose work you respect. I always get that from every time I ask that question. Give me five pan players you listen to, or
Yeah, one pan player that I love to listen to, Victor Provost. He's known a lot for his jazz playing, and every time I hear a chorus of him improvising, it's always just turns into gold, you know. At every
yeah,
single note he plays, I can learn from it. However,
yeah.
he's playing from Donna Lee, Cherokee, All the Things You Are, you name it. I can just learn anything from that.
some
That's
other players.
some other players. I like to listen. I like also Bugsy Sharp.
Uh-huh.
He's also one person I like to listen to a lot too. Again, with wonderful improvisation, I really learn a lot from him. I've
Uh-huh.
just like Andy Narell. He's another one with like very, I don't want to say complex harmonies, but let's yeah, I guess like complex harmonies, but the harmonies always sound beautiful in his pieces, you know.
Yeah.
So Um, yeah, those three are like some great pianists I like to listen to, excluding my dad.
Okay. So, what about you, Liam? What are some of the guys you like to listen to, or the guys you
So,
appreciate?
so, it's a very difficult question, and I often turn to, do you remember David Rather's song Dedication, a praise song?
Yes.
In that song, one of his profound lyrics is, to name a few would make the others feel small.
Ah,
Always careful when I'm asked these types of questions. Uh,
yeah.
of course, um, definitely many of the pioneers, starting from the Kobo Jacks of the world, Earl Rodneys, um, Len Z Sharp, Robbie Greenidge, Othello Molino, of course, late great Jet Samaru, and I mean, many of the contemporary players, including Victor Provost, who has been extremely kind to me, extremely kind to my son, and of course, Andre White, the Leon Foster Thomases of the world, Kareem the Dream Thompson, Gary Gibson, and recently you interviewed the wonderful Jonathan Scales,
Yes.
and there's just so many to mention. Natasha Joseph, Chantal Esdell, uh, Dr. Mia Gormandy, who was a former student
Yeah.
of mine. So, Josanne Francis. Just let me know how much time you have.
Don't
um,
don't let him lie to you. His search history is just full of Liam Teague.
but there're just so many, and I feel that the future of this instrument is certainly bright. We're all doing so many wonderful things, and I
Yeah.
make an even more powerful impact. We have to come together, because
Yes.
I don't know what your experience is, but certainly in terms of my experience, there's still so many people around the world that don't really understand the many musical possibilities and the profundity of
Yes.
the instrument, and so we have to do it in a collective way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this in, with that in mind, there's one thing that comes up for me. I don't know what your experience has been. In many ways, Pan, especially in the orchestral setting, can be a bit esoteric in that every once in a while you run into people who cannot make the distinction between a tenor and a double second and cello, or they can't tell what is happening
Hmm.
with each level of the music.
Hmm.
They're, I don't know if they're tone deaf or, and they miss the beauty of the music, and for them it's just sound. And how do you think we can broaden the audience in terms of, in a regular orchestra, you have violins, have different sounds.
Yeah,
But with pan, it's just pan in different, different levels. So how do you think, I don't know if it's with the music or what, how do we think we can better present pan music so it can broaden the appreciation?
it's a great question, and I think one of the keys is certainly education, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm very happy to have been working at an institution like Northern Illinois University, where just last night we went, we performed at a church, and and whenever we perform, there's an educational component to it. So we speak briefly about the history of the instrument, you know.
Very good.
I'm sure you've had these experiences where people still can't believe that those sounds are being emitted from a
Yes.
fan. If they can
Oh,
see
yeah.
something inside the bowl, inside
That's right. Oh, yes, all the time.
so, yeah, So, and those are things that we may take for granted, but for a
Yes.
layperson, they're fascinated by. So I think education is a key component. I think about somebody like, the wonderful Duvon Stewart,
Yeah.
especially when he did his Year for Love, and I remember him taking the time to speak to, the audience that would have been in Renegade's Panyard and break down
Right.
the arrangement for them, and he did the same thing in the documentary that was produced by Mark Loquan. And I
Right.
think those things really resonate, not just with musicians, but with lay people. When you speak to
Right.
them in a language that they can relate to, and you don't get so fixated in technicalities, yeah, I use this tritone substitution here, and sometimes that just tends to alienate people. So you speak
Right.
in a way that they can understand. You bring them, to the table, and then perhaps, give them a little more education from a technical standpoint. So yeah, so I, I think that's one of the key components.
Very good, very good. So, did we miss anything? Is there anything else you both would like to share with the pan world?
Um, I got nothing left.
No.
Anything?
Well, for me, I thank you for hosting us and giving us a platform to share what we've been doing and what we hope to do in the future. I always say that one of the things I really miss is not being able to be in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean at large as often as I'd like, because I love giving back. I've received so much from Trinidad and Tobago, and I see so much young talent coming up,
Yes.
and I was very fortunate to be able to come to the US and study, and then eventually I stayed here, and it's allowed me many, many opportunities to perform in various musical avenues. And those are things that I'm very passionate about, helping young people to achieve their musical and educational dreams. So come to Northern Illinois University.
Thanks for the invitation. I might take you up on that.
You're always
So, thank you. Liam and Jaden, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast and giving us some insight into your journey as Panis. And I wish you both continued success.
Thank you, darling.
And thank you so much for coming.
Have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
You too. The Pan Players podcast is brought to you courtesy of Kakesa Pan Emporium, where you'll find SteelPan products you never knew you needed. Check it out at kakesa.com. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when the next video is released. Until then, Kute Cheo.